This is the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 284. This is the G Podcast. Yes. Man, we are back. Your weekly recap podcast, news, politics, pop culture, and the tea. And hopefully you are following us on Spotify. All you have to do is search for This is the G Podcast. Make sure you do it today if you haven't already. Tommy B's in the building, Vi's in the building, Tanya B is back, Talib is in the building. Everybody's here with one very special guest. Gotta say what's up to my neighbor, the one and only. What's up, Shirley Jones?
Hi, what's up, you guys? Thomas and Tanya, how you doing?
Good. Shirley Jones of the Jones Girls, not only my neighbor, one of my favorite artists of all time, one of definitely the girls group, the Jones Girls, has a new single, and it's not, I didn't just bring you back just for that. It's your birthday coming up too, so let's go ahead and shout you out.
It's your birthday. It's birthday. Go, yes. Go, Shirley.
It's your birthday. Yes, Monday. Monday, another trip around the sun.
There you go. Hey, we are glad you are still here to produce music, do your thing. You got a new single called It's Good Stuff. I want to put the in there, but it's good stuff.
Good
and
stuff.
It's categorized as Southern Soul. Talk about that, because normally, I know you from the Philly Soul, that era of post-disco. Talk to us about the whole journey, your journey with Southern Soul.
Well, Southern Soul is really, really, really popular now. So when the guy presented this track to me, I said, "Oh, this is nice." But I say that it's R&B with a little Southern Soul. It's got those Southern Soul horns, and but to me, it's still kind of classic R&B.
Okay, you know what? Let's play a little bit of it real quick. Let's do a quick, let's sample it. And it is on our station, Velvet Frequency Radio. And thank you so much for getting it to me and even introducing it. Thank you so much for doing that. So let's play a little bit of it, and then we'll come right back.
Checks all the boxes. Well, after all that searching, I think I got one this time. 'Cause you see, I spent a lot of years trying to find the right one. Shed a lot of tears, dealing with the wrong ones. Then you came my way, looking oh so fly. I gotta give this man a try. Then you hit me with the good stuff. Good stuff. And now I can't get enough. You hit me at the right time. Right time. You got me going out of my mind.
No, he didn't hit you with the good stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let me go ahead and give you applause for that.
It has a very broad meaning.
But that kind of feels, and y'all can jump in. Don't just, Tanya B, Talib is here.
No,
country
I don't think it has a very
That's kind
broad
of Motown.
meaning.
What's that?
Has a very broad.
Tanya
Can
B,
you hear
go
me?
ahead. Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I said it has a very broad meaning because good stuff could mean a whole lot of different things. So it's all about your imagination. But what I find is interesting about this is that, like South Shirley was saying, Southern Soul is becoming popular to the mainstream. We've known about it for years, and it's like a derivative of the blues, and that really almost sounds like the R&B that where we've been used to, that we were reared on. So they say everything old is new again. Right. But one thing I gotta say, maybe I'm being biased, and I said this to Shirley when we connected with her 15 years ago. Your voice still sounds like butter, baby.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So honestly, for me, and I agree with Tanya B, because going back to even when I was in college, we had, I remember Roy C. Y'all remember going back to the old days of Roy C. and what was
ZZ
what was the
Hill.
song? Taxi. Yeah, ZZ Hill, Jay Blackfoot. What was
Denise
the song?
LaSalle.
Don't mess with my toot toot.
Denise
Yeah,
LaSalle.
Denise LaSalle. Yeah, and this got a little bit of that up tempo, kind of don't mess with my toot toot, and a little bit of Motown. So I like where you're coming from, Shirley. So
Yeah,
tell me,
thank you.
this, and it's not a new genre, and quite frankly, you live with Southern Soul.
But no, and it's funny you said Motown, because the guy that actually, because those are live horns. I insisted on live horns. And the guy that actually did the arrangement on those horns did all the arranging of the horns and strings on a lot of Motown records, McKinley Jackson. So that's why it has that Motown flavor. And I have a choreographer working on a line dance right now, so that when we shoot the video, we're going to have our own little line dance to it.
Yep. I mean, I see Talib shaking his head. Talib's a marketer. So Talib's
Right.
like, yeah. Well, go ahead,
Well,
Talib.
you got
I mean-
to. I mean, it's a must.
Go ahead.
It's a must. I mean, for this market, that's the best way to get it. Especially if the line dance is easy enough to do.
Oh yeah.
Don't hit it with the Tamia.
No, it's so simple, because I can only do simple. I have two left feet, so it's got to be simple.
Yeah, you got to have that for me, because if I got to pull out the book, if I gotta go to what's the old Arthur Murray.
Right, exactly.
Oh, no.
See, oh yeah, I went old school.
Yeah.
So despite the genre, I can still hear the vocals in there. How do you balance your signature sound with bringing new sounds or adapting to a lot of the new sounds? How do you do that, Shirley Jones?
I approach shows and recording in the studio by just singing.
Yeah.
doing me. I don't try to imitate anybody else. I don't try to like so many of these young singers, everybody tries to sound like Beyonce. I try to sound like me, and that's what I because I have a signature style, a voice, and I don't try to imitate or try to sound like the latest singer that's out there. I just keep doing me.
Good stuff. And I've been seeing you hang out with like Melba Moore doing shows, Climax. A lot of you're very active on social media, which I think is good on your part. When y'all get together and talk, and you can spill the tea a little bit. What do y'all talk about when you see? I saw Karen White, Sherelle, a lot of these older artists. I know it's like, hey, you know what I'm saying, because y'all are. This is my era. That's what I'm talking about. Seasoned artists. This is my era. What do y'all talk about? What's the tea?
Maybe we talk about how we're like Melba and Climax, Joyce Irby and myself. We're supposed to be doing a 10-city tour that's going to be starting up, I think, in November. And we talk about how difficult it can be sometimes for a seasoned artist to get the work. But it seems like lately, it's everybody seems to be interested in us, because everybody's working pretty much, on a pretty steady basis. But it's difficult. It is difficult to package, the right people together, because I guess maybe people are kind of tired of seeing all these younger concerts where people really aren't singing. They have all this flamboyant flying from the ceiling and all this kind of stuff, but they really aren't performing. And they don't. My goal in every performance that I do is to leave people with a smile. on their faces. When they walk out, they can really say they were thoroughly entertained. I take them down memory lane with all those hits, and tell them, hey, we'll support more of the seasoned artists, because we not only enjoy what we do, but we come doing it without any special effects other than our voices.
Good stuff. But who do you think is doing it right on the younger side, in the younger generation? Who do you think's doing it right?
The one that's doing, I like Coco Jones. And she's a little bit younger too, but my favorite, who I met not too long ago, and we've become friends. I really like Lettucey.
Okay.
She's I love her.
Yeah.
But for the real younger generation, I would definitely go with Coco Jones, and her. I like her too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I think it's interesting because Coco Jones's name is starting to come up among a lot of the legendary singers, seasoned singers, and well deserved, because when you come out and sing for real, there's only, I like the new neo R&B, I like it, but I think that whole baby talk sound, that's what I call it. Tanya B, you can correct me.
Here's the thing, that baby talk and all that ooh and ah, and to me, that's those girls that can't sing, cool. And they don't want to be in a room with a Shirley Jones
for some songs, but not
or
all.
a Melba Moore.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, and I gotta say, again, Shirley, you come from an era where you had to have talent. You had to be able to sing. It wasn't about having 55 dances and pyrotechnics. Y'all got out there and you sang like flat foot in church. You don't need dancers. You don't need Jim Exactly. You could just stand there and sing. And a lot of them can't do that. And for these people that get out there and walk back and forth and make you dizzy for 45 minutes, to me, I'm not being entertained. And with that, I have a question, Shirley.
It's all in the music, it's all in the music.
What'd you say? Go ahead, Shirley, one more time.
It's all in the lyrics. So many of these newer songs, they're not telling stories. Well, first of all, they only want you to do 3 minutes. The song to be 3 minutes long. So you really have to get in there and tell your story quickly. But a lot of them, they're not even telling stories. That's why when they perform, they say the same thing. I could do this for hours and hours and hours and hours, but it's the same thing. I believe in relaying the story, like with Good Stuff. The story, she met this man and he laid something on her and it's good stuff and she's happy about it. So you have 3 minutes now to get that in there, but you need to tell stories in order to perform so that people can feel something.
Yeah, so true. And we tape the show on Saturday mornings, and you've got an event coming up. I'm going to go ahead and mention it because we're going to release this before the event. Sunday at the Pink Lion, here in the ATL or ATL area.
It was last Sunday.
Oh my God, you serious?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Where am I? Sunday. How did it go? Did it go?
Oh, it was great. I'll send you a snippet because I did the new song, and two of my 3 singers came down from Chattanooga, and they got a nice videotape of it. In fact, Mike was saying he's getting a really good response from the video, where my 2 singers and I sang it and introduced it for the first time. Yes.
No wonder Mike sent me the flyer.
Yeah.
Where were you at, boy? Well, your birthday's this weekend anyway, so I gotta say, hey.
Yeah, my birthday's Monday. Yeah, so I'm going out to dinner with friends tonight and tomorrow and Monday. My kids are taking me out, so my actual birthday is Monday.
Excellent, good stuff. So you got, and I keep saying good stuff. See, I'm sold.
You always say that, though.
Like when you go to people's houses and they offer you a drink, a lot of times, if you're that special to them, they'll say, "Hey, I'm getting ready to give you the good stuff."
That's
the good
about.
the good, So like Tanya said, good stuff can mean a whole lot,
Yeah. So true. Hey, so I got to let Shirley go. Thank you so much, Shirley Jones. Y'all got anything last minute for Shirley Jones?
I've got a quick question.
Let's
I
keep
want
it
to say,
up.
Yeah.
Shirley, being that you come from a family of singers, and now that you have your son, the Jones connection, Cam, and your nephew PJ, how people say, "What's the best advice you ever gotten?" But how are you preparing them for how the business has changed so that they too can have 1/10 of the longevity that you have had, because the business has changed so drastically?
Yeah, and the funny thing is that they've learned the business. They are the ones that's keeping me visible. My son runs my social media pages, and we got one that's just gone viral that he put up about covers and samples, and I did not know that Maxwell had covered this lady's song. And I didn't know some of the covers were, I knew Who Can I Run To, and that one's on there. And as of this morning, it's over 100-some thousand likes, and I'm getting like 50 and 60 new followers a day.
Wow.
So yeah, which is, but that's my son. They've read all the books on the business, and they're keeping me abreast and working on their own stuff and keeping me out there too.
Yeah.
Because they say, well, we keep you out there, our chances are better.
Right.
Stuff.
Hey, Talib, you had something. Go ahead, Talib.
I just wanted to say thank you for years and years and years of quality music. Growing up, one of my mom's favorite joints, and I have memories of us sitting around and listening to her play I Just Love the Man.
Oh, Lord, yes.
As an adult, I really come to love Nights Over Egypt. Just the instrumentation of it. I mean, the building, the swells in the music, the way y'all come in and y'all hit it. I mean, it's just amazing. So, I just wanted to say thank you.
Well, you're so welcome, and hopefully, if the good Lord is willing, it'll be 45, because we're celebrating 45 years, man, since the release of our sophomore album. 46 years since the release of the first Jones Girls album.
Yeah.
So it's an honor and a blessing for me, and I enjoy it so, and I plan to keep on keeping on and doing it as long as I can, in honor of my sisters and my mom too. So
definitely. And I just want to say, too, that album cover was stylish. You know what I mean? Y'all look good.
Oh, yeah.
as a young man,
man.
y'all look great.
Yeah.
I just want to say that.
Seriously,
thank
though,
you.
I mean, you look back because your sons have been on your social media highlighting a lot of the album covers and the older photos, and y'all look good. I mean, y'all didn't go Ohio Players on us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You didn't go there, but it was nice. I mean, it was
Thank you.
definitely very, very well done. Don't be doing that, Tanya B.
Well, thank you.
I'm gonna ask my question. Okay? Ohio Players, But anyway, thank you so much. I got to give it up. The one and only Shirley Jones.
Thank y'all so much, and have a blessed, happy weekend.
And you have a great
Definitely.
birthday.
Happy
Shirley.
birthday.
Oh, thank you. I will.
All right. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Tanya B looking at me like, why are you?
No, I know. I understand. I know. I get it. One other thing I got to say about Shirley, if you think about it, the Jones Girls were kind of ahead of the curve with a lot of, really girl groups that were siblings. But you also got to look at this. They had to really have their stuff together, because when you have, Diana Ross handpick you to be her backup singers, and then she goes and says to Kenny Gamble, Leon Huff, they need a deal, Yeah. So if, you really got to be on your P's and Q's. People forget about that.
You're so right, Tanya B. I've had her, and she's been on with us before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's very, we've had her on consistently, but that post-disco era was just an amazing era for these types of groups. The sound was just, I mean, you're coming off disco, You know, nobody knows where to go when it comes down to black music, urban music, and they come out with stuff like "You're Gonna Make Me Love Somebody Else."
Man,
you know, that groove.
song.
Oh, you know what I mean?
But there's songs for radio songs and club songs.
The gap. Oh, club. That's what I mean. Yeah. It fit the gap because there was a gap, and you know, black people never really got super heavy into disco. But, you know, so we were always funk. We were always given the funk, but they had a mix of that classic Philly funk dance. You know, nobody, you know, I don't think anybody's ever, I was talking to her, I don't think anybody's ever replaced that or tried to do it like they did.
No.
Do you think? I don't, you know,
Yeah,
I
I'd
don't think so.
I'd have to say no. You know, I mean, but that was, you know, you have to look at what was happening at that time. You know what I mean? Just the fact that they were with Gamble and Huff.
Yeah,
You know, so you knew the instrumentation was going to be big. There was
on point.
orchestral. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I mean, but like you hit on as well, the overall sound was changing, was moving. You know, 77, 78, 79.
Mhm.
You know, and it was up tempo R&B, not really disco.
No,
You know what I mean?
because you had D
And
Train, if you remember D
right.
Train,
Oh yeah, of course.
that whole
Of course.
vibe.
Yeah.
You know, it was
So yeah,
good. It was, I hate to say it was good stuff. Yeah.
it was musical. It
Yeah.
was still
Yes.
music. You know, there was
So
still,
very.
you know, and that's the funny thing too. You know, I say the reason why I used to say that hip hop was dead was because hip hop was born on the breakbeat,
Mm.
which is the breakdown part of the song.
Yeah.
You know, if there's no more instrumentation, then there's no more breakbeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and not so I'm not, you know, again, not saying that hip hop is, you know, dead in that sense, but at the same time, the energy that we were using to create hip hop was no longer being used to create it. We had moved into an electronic space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So without the break, it's like, you know, what are we talking about?
And let me throw this in, man, and we're gonna go to news, and Talib, feel free to jump back in, or anybody. I was playing some Houdini, right?
Mhm.
And if you think about like the Houdini tracks, that was original. A lot of that music.
Yeah. But you know who's producing like the original, the first Houdini joint was produced by Blinded Me with Science. You know, the
Thomas
same
Dolby.
Thomas Dolby did
Yep.
Magic's Wand. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So it was heavy synth. You know,
Yeah.
Friends, 5 Minutes of Funk. Yeah, we were coming out of the breakbeat stage because we couldn't necessarily put a breakbeat on you can't put a record on a record.
Yeah. So true.
But so people were replaying a lot of things. But
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, there was still that band element in the early days, in the early recorded days of hip hop. And that's why you still had that energy as well. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was the breakbeat being created live in the studio.
Yeah. So true. So true. Appreciate it, y'all. Let's go ahead. We'll do news with Syracuse Mike. I guess. And then we'll come back. I know. Oh boy, these weeks in news.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Let's go ahead and do this, and we'll come back on the other side. Here we go.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
Hours after Charlie Kirk was killed in Utah, FBI Director Kash Patel falsely declared online that the shooter was in custody. In reality, the gunman remained at large. The mistake has fueled doubts about Patel's leadership as he heads into congressional oversight hearings this week. Lawmakers are expected to grill him on his handling of the Kirk investigation, plus the purge of senior FBI officials and shifts in priorities at the Bureau. Even some Republican political leaders and strategists are publicly questioning whether Patel should stay in the job. New documents could undercut mortgage fraud claims against Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. Multiple news outlets are reporting a loan estimate from 2021 shows Cook told her credit union an Atlanta home was a vacation home, not her primary residence, contradicting allegations from Trump officials who claimed she had two primary residences. Cook has denied wrongdoing, and property records show she never sought a tax break on the Georgia home. The controversy stems from federal mortgage forms now under Justice Department review. A federal appeals court has blocked President Trump's attempt to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. In a 2-1 ruling Monday, the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals upheld a lower court order reinstating Cook, saying her due process rights were likely violated. Mr. Trump moved to oust Cook last month over allegations of mortgage fraud, which she denies. One of her properties is here in Georgia. The court decision means Cook will remain on the 7-member Fed board and will take part in the latest interest rate meeting. The Trump administration is expected to ask the Supreme Court to make a final ruling. Grammy-winning artist Lil Nas X is in an inpatient treatment program after his August 25th arrest and release on 4 felony charges. He missed a Los Angeles court hearing Monday, but his lawyers confirmed he is receiving treatment in another state. Attorney Drew Feiling also said,
he's had a great life. He'll continue to have a great life. And this is a bump that he's going to get over.
A judge modified his release conditions, allowing him to remain out of state while in care. Lil Nas X was arrested after walking outside in his underwear and eventually allegedly assaulting police. Prosecutors have filed 7 charges against 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, accused of shooting and killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk last week at Utah State University. Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray announced Tuesday the charges include aggravated murder.
I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly.
And those other charges include obstruction of justice and witness tampering.
The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide.
Robinson is being held without bail at the Utah County Jail. Atlanta police have arrested a man in the theft of unreleased Beyonce music and gear from her choreographer's car in July. You may remember this 911 call.
They have my computers, and it's really, really important information in there.
Investigators say Kelvin Evans broke into a vehicle and a parking deck days before Beyonce's Cowboy Carter concert, stealing laptops, set lists, and other valuables. The death of 21-year-old Trey Reed, found hanging from a tree at Delta State University in Mississippi, is under investigation. University police say no signs of foul play have been found so far, and an autopsy is underway with results expected soon. Video evidence is also being reviewed. The university has acknowledged the scene may be especially distressing for students, given the history of racial violence in the South. Representative Ro Khanna wants the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, to appear before a congressional panel to answer questions about his role in the Kimmel decision by ABC.
I'm introducing a motion to subpoena Brendan Carr, to bring him in front of this committee, to stop the intimidation of private businesses and to stand up for the First Amendment.
House Republicans on Thursday blocked Khanna's efforts to subpoena the FCC chair. Kimmel was suspended shortly after Carr appeared on a podcast and implied that ABC affiliate licenses could be revoked if Kimmel was not punished. Democrats also say they will try to pass a bill to bolster free speech protections.
Hey, I want to say thanks to Syracuse Mike. And Mike sent me something else. I want to play this. I rarely play anything from, or if I've ever played anything from Ted Cruz out of Texas. But I got to play this because it'll frame the next part of this conversation. Here we go.
He threatens explicitly, we're going to cancel ABC's license. We're going to take him off the air so ABC cannot broadcast anymore. And I got to say, he threatens it. He says, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way.
Yeah.
And I got to say, that's right out of Goodfellas. That's right out of a mafioso coming into a bar going, nice bar you have here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. And I got to say, look, I understand. Jimmy Kimmel has mocked me so many times I cannot count. The corporate media, they are dishonest. They are liars. I hate what Jimmy Kimmel said. I am thrilled that he was fired. But let me tell you, if the government gets in the business of saying, we don't like what you, the media, have said, we're going to ban you from the airwaves if you don't say what we like, that will end up bad for conservatives. It reminds me of, you and I are both fans of The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
J.R.R. Tolkien. It reminds me of like the Ring of Power. And it is so attractive. It's sort of like conservatives saying, wait, if we have government, we have power. Yeah. We can ban the media. Let me tell you what will happen. Going down this road, there will come a time when a Democrat wins again. wins the White House,
they will get rid of every talk show host in America that's a conservative. They'll get rid of every podcast. They'll get rid of everybody on YouTube.
They will silence us. They will use this power, and they will use it ruthlessly. Yep. And that is dangerous. And by the way, in the Biden administration, they tried to go after and revoke Fox's license because they didn't like, and they say everything they say on Fox is hate speech. I'm sure they say everything you and I say is hate speech, is misinformation. Sure. They've defined anything counter to the leftist narrative as misinformation. Now, we just talked about Jimmy Kimmel was lying. But you know what? It's interesting. Brendan said, well, gosh, they slandered Charlie Kirk and his family. You know what? If they slandered him, there's already a remedy. There's a remedy of defamation. ABC could be sued. And by the way, you get a defamation lawsuit, you could pay millions of dollars. Let that process play out. I think it is unbelievably dangerous for government to put itself in the position of saying, we're going to decide what speech we like and what we don't, and we're going to threaten to take you off air if we don't like what you're saying. And it might feel good right now to threaten Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
But when it is used to silence every conservative in America, we will regret it. And so, again, I like Brendan Carr, but we should not be in this business. We should denounce it. It's fine to say what Jimmy Kimmel said was deplorable, it was disgraceful, and he should be off air, but we shouldn't be threatening government power to force him off air. That's a real mistake.
I agree, 100%. And I've been, as someone who has been a general manager for a station and had to go through the licensing, relicensing process, that license is your death. It's like taking away a license is like a death sentence for a company in broadcasting. There's a difference between broadcast and cable because broadcast is regulated by the FCC. But you've already got, as a broadcaster, you've already got issues, maybe some issues depending on the type of company you have, where you've got the public. The public has the right to complain and have complaints against you. But when the FCC is making threats, because back in the day, it was a situation where if you could have public complaints, you know, of course, you always prepared for your license review, but you had the FCC was somewhat of a quote unquote ally in terms of helping you renew your license and get everything done. But now it's like with the FCC being politicized, which there's always been a political factor because of the fact that most of these guys are actually given these positions. They're assigned from presidents and administration. But I've never seen it this weaponized. And I agree with, Cruz. It's dangerous. Y'all, it is dangerous. If the FCC does not remain neutral in this situation. And let me tell you, the other thing, and I'm going to throw it to y'all. There's a $39 billion, there's a cap. Right now, broadcasters have a 39% cap on what they can own in the country. These companies want that cap gone because they're right now, as you know, they are competing with digital. So they want to be able, as they did with radio, consolidate, buy more, reduce jobs, centralize, so that they feel like they can compete better with digital. That's what they want. So if the FCC comes to them and says, hey, if you want to remove this cap, do this, guess what they're going to do?
That.
They're going to get rid of that cap. So that's what people don't understand. There's more to this Kimmel thing than just not liking Kimmel. It always follow the money. Follow the money.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. I'm going to throw it. You were thinking here, start with Tanya B, go to lead and then Vi. Go ahead.
No, I get it. And this is like the worst form of censorship. And wasn't this country built on free speech? If you don't like what I have to say, turn off the channel, turn off the radio, change the station. You're not forced to listen to anything anybody says. And it's just like a little kid. You don't want to play my way, so you can't play with me. I think to me, it's a sign of just political, social, psychological immaturity on the part of the one that's in the office right now. And that does not make for good politics. It does not make for good, the duties that you were hired to perform and execute as in the highest office of this country. Well, it's just like somebody who is not qualified to be a pig farmer coming in and telling someone who does know how to pig farm how to do their job. You don't come in my kitchen and tell me how to cook when you have never lifted up a pot in your life. So, I think it's immature.
Yeah. I'm going to go to
seventh grade.
I got to be honest. I love Tanya B's word. It's immature, and but that's the word of the century right now, honestly speaking. Because if you look at just the way that people are, the best way I can describe what I'm seeing in the general public is immature. You know, but in terms of Ted Cruz, let me just say terrible Italian accent. I have to totally disagree that the Dems will ever be ruthless or try and do something ruthless. They've already shown that they are feckless. So I don't know how everybody's thinking that the left is so violent and aggressive, and we can see that the left has been anything but. Again, my weekly hypocritical call. You know what I mean? But I will say this. Ted Cruz is definitely on the right side of the issue, even though I think personally it's for the wrong reason, as opposed to advocating for just, the fact that, look, this makes sense. He's coming from the I don't want the get back stamp. He's coming from the standpoint of I don't want the get back, but I will say thank you to Ted Cruz for this one particular and only thing that I've ever heard you say that I've totally agreed with. But I want to give it up to everybody who's standing on the right side of an issue, whether it's for the wrong or the right reason. MTG, for her stance on the Israel war. I mean, I can give it up to anybody if you are not just agreeing with what I'm agreeing with, but, agreeing with it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. The principle of it. Yeah,
exactly.
But I've got to say, and the politicization of the FCC is going to be a big deal. It's all, again, there's always been a facet of it, but not to the extent of it's a money game right now. It really is.
It is.
You guys don't understand. Well, most of you understand what's going on when it comes down to these companies, and it's almost like a shakedown from the White House on many different levels. Not just this issue, but even when it comes down to immigration right now, when these visas, these what do you call them, the special visas,
the H-1B,
the H-1B. It's a shakedown. Now, they're requiring if you're going to bring somebody in from another country, you got to pay $100,000 a year for the visa if you're a company. So everything has a quote unquote financial penalty to it. Not the principle of it, but now it's financial. So ultimately, I think when it comes down to it with this, I think more people see. I'm jaded. I'm looking at this from look, Kimmel's been saying stuff for a long time, y'all. Come on. Now there's a difference between what Kimmel says and what South Park says, because South Park's cable and Kimmel is on broadcast stations. But when it comes down to it, Kimmel's been saying stuff, and honestly, quite frankly, this is one of the least controversial things that's come out of late night. Yeah. So the timing of this is really, I think, about a shakedown, part of it.
Tommy, I'm just finding it very difficult to believe that Charlie Kirk is the hill that these Republicans and conservatives are dying on. The guy was a millionaire, a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
And we know that he used race baiting as part of his speak. That was his whole, I
want to say this, Talib, and I'm just going to jump in for a minute to say this is a, how do you say it? Culture wars, which I phrase that as culture wars, is a tactic, and quite frankly, it's their strategy. So it's not just him; it's strategic by MAGA. That's just a strategy. Okay, so I don't isolate it just to him. I say in general, that's their strategy. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's like I said, I'm just finding it hard to believe that this is who you're holding up as your Martin Luther King right now. You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm seeing people doing
look at the numbers. Look at the numbers, Talib. Look at the challenges. You understand
what do you
I'm
mean?
saying?
What you mean?
Look at the challenges that Trump faces right now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When it comes down to approval ratings, when it comes down to getting what he needs to turn unemployment around, inflation around, he can't lose the base. Okay? So in a lot of cases, I look at this as an opportunity for him to ignite or reignite the base. These things reignite the base. So the numbers have been going south. If you've been paying attention to the overall approval ratings, they've been going south.
Yeah.
So I think part of this is about finding something to reignite the base. And you know, so I just look at it as another, you know, it's timing wise, when you need something, you grasp.
Oh no, I see why they're doing it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that. Look at it. This is, to me, this is almost like a grasp at straws.
It is.
You know what I mean? Because of who this person actually was.
Yeah.
You know, this is not somebody.
It is who they are.
Exactly. But in terms of how, right. Who else? Yeah.
It is who they are. I mean, we can't ignore the fact that it's a strategy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tanya B. You got any last thoughts? Then we got to go to tea. We're gonna go to break and then go to tea, and figure out what's going on with Vi. I think he's frozen.
No, he's traumatized by what's going on.
Yeah,
he's afraid to talk. You know, the guys with all the censorship going on. But you know, no, I would say
you got
it's
any
not
last
like,
minute?
Huh? I'm sorry.
No, you have anything last? Anything last? Then we'll go to break.
I applaud the people that are standing, and I want them standing with Jimmy Kimmel. You know, people are out there. You know, we protest for different reasons, protesting. And although I don't condone violence, I got to say 5 on it to the 62 years young man that went up and did a drive-by and shot up the ABC Sacramento TV station in protest and solidarity of Jimmy Kimmel. It comes, you know, this is an ageless, raceless issue. And I think until ABC starts to feel it in their pocketbooks, they're going to try to stand by. But I heard they're already in talks talking about bringing Jimmy back. So this might have all been a stunt from the very beginning, but not a good one.
I got you. All right. Yeah. Hey, let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back on the other side. Here we go.
Bowie.
Hey, what's up, y'all? We are back. Let's go ahead and do it.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tanya B.
Tanya B, hurry up. Don't get frozen like Vi.
Okay. I'll let it go.
Monsters out there.
First up, I really got traumatized. First, I want to say congratulations. You know, Rihanna and her husband, A$AP Rocky, have had 2 baby boys. She just gave birth to a baby girl this week. So shout out to Rihanna and her family. And I want to say prayers up to the legendary Dionne Warwick. You know, she's 80-something years young, and she's had some issues that required her to have surgery on her legs. So she's had to cancel a lot of her tour dates going into early 2026. So get well soon to Auntie Dionne. And then we had to talk about Robert Redford. Oh, my goodness. You know, a lot of people, women, I would say, of all nationalities, say he was a good-looking man. But, you know, he did so much, and we lost just, I think, after Paul Newman, I think he's one of the next greats out of Hollywood of, you know, that particular era. You know, writer, director, actor, you know, and I remember, was it Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid? Was he in that? I believe. Okay. But What a lot of people
yes.
fail to remember is that he is the person that brought the Sundance Institute and the Sundance Film Festival. He birthed that, and that gave a lot of people a lot of opportunity to have the careers that they have now. So I think that even in movies like Ordinary People, that was one of those elephants in the room when it comes to mental health issues and how families deal with it and how it can break down some families. And I think he really was ahead of his time in speaking about that in that movie. And I think it showed, was it Timothy Hutton? And I think Mary Tyler Moore played the wife. It showed just a different side of how people have to deal with that issue, whether it's children, siblings or parents. And that was something that wasn't talked about, especially, people are
he
just
won an
talking
Academy
about it
Award
now.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won an
So
Academy
I got to
Award.
give it
It was
up.
a big movie. Yeah.
Got to give it up. And we've been kind of talking about this whole Jimmy Kimmel mess. And you know what? I heard some of what was said, and they acting like, he tried to kill the man's family or something or other. And, he, like you said, he's been critical of the Orange One for quite some time. And I think this was one way that Orange One tried to get back at him. Again, you also have to think about the money that was in the room. And there's some man his name is something. I think the company's called Nexstar. They own like 28 ABC affiliates, and he's the one that started it. But my thing, with this whole merger and whatnot, I wonder if it's going to happen. But, you have people like David Letterman, our forever President Obama, even Seth Meyers, who I understand they were going to go after next, have really been supporting Jimmy Kimmel. And then you don't really get someone's attention until you hit their pocketbook. So massive cancellations of Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN, even though it is football season. And even there's, boycotts, which I shared with you all, that are, on the rise of those companies that fund ABC. And when you look at what's there, it's like, man, I can't eat, I can't go anywhere. But it just shows you how money really, they say it's a root of all evil, but money is at the bottom of all this. It's supposed to be, the fight for free speech. And that's what this country was allegedly built on. But I think it comes down to money and jealousy and Talib, as I said before, immaturity. So
yeah, so true. I agree.
Okay. And next, let's talk the elephant in the room. I was going to mention this, and between the time I first mentioned it to you, Tommy B, and now it's kind of grown 99 legs, and that's Cardi B. Okay, this album, Am I the Drama? Yes, you are, honey. It has come out. Streets are talking, saying that somebody wrote a check to pay for this album to go platinum already, because, those been back in the day when you had a gold and platinum record, it really meant a lot. Now it's like, because this generation doesn't care. But what they do care about is Cardi has finally, she couldn't deny it because she was showing. She's pregnant, allegedly, by Stefan Diggs, her current boyfriend. Now, Stefan Diggs allegedly has 2 other women that have babies that are 2 months old and 5 months old, and one of them is suing him. Okay, now, the other thing that people have to realize, of course, he's like, I didn't do it, so somebody call Maury Povich. But, in the state of Georgia, as I think we talked about, being that Cardi B is still legally married to Offset, when that baby is born, you never know what's going to happen. That's all I'm going to say. Every state has some crazy paternity laws, but then now Cardi's saying, as soon as I have this baby, because now she's had to delay her tour yet again, a 30-city tour, and I don't know who's going to show up. I know I won't. So,
and she's doing an arena tour, right?
She's trying to, but I don't know if she can fill up an arena. But that remains to be seen. Because if you're gonna have to,
that was my question. Do you, Talib? Do you think on the hip hop side, you think she can fill up an arena at this point?
It really depends on who she was out with. She did some little female empowerment. Her and Megan and Michaela and a few other folks. Yeah, they could probably pull it off. But in terms of she is. I don't think she's got the draw right now to fill an arena by herself.
Vi, did you have something?
Isn't she pregnant right now?
Yeah, she's got number 4.
Yeah.
Okay, now I thought.
But she gonna work. She gonna work till what? 7 months?
Okay.
Maybe, but the tour doesn't start till after the baby's born. Now she's allegedly in rehearsals, but again, 8 months from now, nobody will. There'll be somebody else new on the scene, and she may need to get them to be her opening act to try to fill up Aspen Arena.
But do she still need the money?
Okay.
So do she still need money or something?
Apparently so. When you're a single parent of 4 kids, and the boy don't have a job, so that means 5 kids. You're about to be the mother of 5.
But you always really, quite frankly, you got to keep in mind, and Talib, correct me if I'm wrong, this is only the second album. Okay.
Really?
So,
Well,
yeah.
third album.
Because really,
because he was doing so many mixtapes and stuff.
Yeah, but you got EPs in between. And,
Right.
But I'm talking about, this is a full album, 23 cuts?
Yeah, something
20,
like that.
20 plus cuts. And she hasn't done that since 2017 or 2018. So it's been 7 years since a full album. Everything else has been more like EP and singles in
living
between.
off the name?
That's about it. What's
So
that?
it's been living off the fame?
To some extent, yeah.
The
But
endorsement.
that's, yeah, so true, so true. Go ahead, Tanya B, finish up.
Okay, you said finished
I'll let
up.
you rock.
Chris Brown,
No. I mean, yeah, on
by
Cardi.
Cardi.
Yeah,
I'm
go
done
ahead.
with Cardi.
Do
It's
your thing.
okay. We're done. Moving right along. Chris Brown, the reason I got to give it to him, he's messy in his personal life, but when it comes to the value of entertainment, although he is flying around the studios and whatnot, Chris Brown is an entertainer. He can sing, he can dance, and being that is he even 30? With the stamina that it requires to do that every night or every other night, a lot of people couldn't do it. But what's interesting is that I'm glad that he decided to take a break from social media rather than to retaliate, about people saying things that they direct, at him. And so I'm glad to see that he responded that way, because it could have gone and been very negative. And we know that when he gets into a certain place, on the mental health issue side, it can be ugly. So I think, everybody should take a break every now and then. I did it, and it was the most liberating thing I'd ever done. And I am nowhere near the level of a Chris Brown.
Go ahead, Tanya B.
I'm serious. You need to. Okay.
I'm with you. I agree.
My next thing is, why? All these, this actor strike happened. Why are these people just sitting around rebooting the reboot that doesn't need to be rebooted, if that makes sense? And with that, I mean, let's get some original programming back on here. That's why people are going to streaming, because they have the original programming. I don't know who needs to see another reboot of the 80s iconic show Miami Vice. You cannot replace Crockett and Tubbs. I'm not even apologizing. I don't get it. I don't think anybody else. I don't think we need it. I don't think we need it.
Did you know Philip Michael
Who
Thomas
they
is
had
like
with Jamie
75?
Foxx and somebody.
Of
But
course.
who could fill that role? It would take you a minute to think.
Well,
Off rip. Who could be the next
Jamie
Crockett and Tubbs?
and Colin
And
Farrell said
That's
that
what
they
I'm
do
that
it
was a
again,
flop.
but it
that was a
bombed.
bomb. It bombed.
Yeah,
Right. So they, why are you
It
even
bombed.
trying to? That's like trying to relight a dead firecracker. You know what?
But I don't know if the
I
actor,
don't
it might have
know.
been just the script. That was a horrible script, man. That was a horrible storyline. It was horrible.
And some things need to be left alone. They
You
don't
think?
need to have any more bad boys. Nothing. Stop. Originality.
I'm cool with Bad Boys.
Yeah.
I'm cool with. Look, hey, I'm cool with Bad Boys because they have the original
Right.
too.
They were the original
But
too.
when you keep rebooting and you keep having to go
Right,
through
with
different
different
actors and
people.
different directors, yeah,
That's
Well,
like
Bad Boys
trying
still
to
making
bring
money, so
back
they can
Car
keep doing it.
Wash with a bunch of unknown
oh
actors.
no.
It's not a thing. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Be frozen like
the
we
ti-
were, and let it go.
Well, the only thing, and I mentioned this. The only thing, the saving grace to that, is the fact they're going to use the director who did the Tom Cruise the
What's
last
his name?
episode of the last Maverick. Yeah, I don't even know his name, but he also did recently F1
Kosinski,
with
Kaczynski,
Brad
somebody,
Pitt for
Joe
Apple.
Kaczynski,
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that. Whatever.
something like that.
Mhm.
That's the only saving grace that I could see potentially, but outside of that, I just don't know the interest in seeing it in Miami Vice. I don't know.
Well, and the
I
crime
don't
scene.
see
I mean,
it.
the time is different. I don't even think people can
Yeah.
relate to what they did back then. Like
especially not the
yeah,
style.
so how you
No.
gonna do it? The thing,
God.
if you're gonna do a
Ain't nobody rocking espadrilles anymore.
right,
No, men in pink. Pink. What's those 80s colors? The muted pink, the muted teal, the purple lilac.
Who's gonna? I mean,
Not the
it's like, if
neon.
you're gonna do the reboot, it's got to be a modern day reboot. So I don't know how you're gonna make that modern.
Look, I'm moving on. What you
That
got
was a
next
moment in time. That's all I got to say. That was a moment in time. Also, I want to say, tomorrow is the 21st night of September. So at 8:00 p.m., the Grammy special, Saluting Earth, Wind, and Fire will be on. I know it's nothing we haven't seen before, but it's just cute that they did that on, in tune with the song. So it is what it is. One of my favorite Earth, Wind, and Fire songs. Also, do we want to talk about another elephant in the room? Well, not an elephant in the room. We talked about reboots. Now, I understand they're doing a revival on Broadway. It's called a revival of Dreamgirls, the iconic stage playing movie. It really that introduced the world to Shirley, Ralph, Loretta Devine, and Jennifer Holliday. And I'm telling you, I'm not going. There is a worldwide talent search going on to cast, and they better get the right people. They better. Camille Brown, we're depending on you, girl. We are depending on you to get the right people into this show. Because aside from Jennifer Hudson and Jennifer Holliday, unless there's some girl somewhere in Middlebrook, Arkansas, flatfoot singing in a church on Sunday, who else can do? And I'm telling you, I'm not going. Everybody can't do that. So we'll see.
I think on Broadway, I think it's a good idea because I mentioned this, Tanya B. I don't think there are a lot of people who haven't had the opportunity to experience it on stage. So I think it would give people that opportunity to get the vibe from the on-stage production. But I agree with you 1,000%. It's just like when they went out and redid, or they tried to do the Whitney biopic, and and brought in this, this girl who, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it comes down to. Is it money?
I mean, look how long
you got to find somebody. Yeah. You got to find somebody who can vibe the show. You can't be bringing people in who don't even understand the vibe of the show.
Make it believable.
Yeah, and know that they're looking for ways to always compare it to the original, and that may not be fair. So I don't know. Is anybody watching Reasonable Doubt? I can't watch it anymore because it's on Hulu.
I am.
Jimmy Kimmel. Okay,
I'm gonna watch that one until it's done. Then I'll jump off. How about that?
Okay, there's this young man, Ozzy Edwards, who was a child star, and he had this so-called girlfriend who had an argument with him, and she disappeared. Now he is a person of interest in her murder. So it's really weird because lawsuits are flying, and the best thing about Reasonable Doubt is Morris Chestnut. I'm just saying.
Do you watch it, Tanya B? I know you don't.
No, and I can't watch it now because it's on Hulu. And if it weren't for the fact that I got Hulu free, I wouldn't even be watching that. I'd be canceling that. Disney Plus, I don't watch that. ESPN, I don't care. It's interesting to see how this is going to affect.
I'm gonna have to find another way until.
Yeah, you go down to the barbershop. And them probably already got the whole season 3, 4, and 5 in the barbershop today. You know how we do. But anyway, unfortunately, that's all we have.
Oh no, not the jailbroken fire stick.
Hey,
y'all know what I'm talking about.
That. No. Oh, I do have to say one more thing. I want to say shout out. This is important, y'all. This is history in the making. Shout out to Tremel Tillman. He made Emmy. Nobody watched the Emmys, but I heard about him. He made Emmy history as the first African-American man to win the Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series for his role in the TV show Severance. So 5-1 to Tremel Tillman.
Good for him, because he was really, outside of that, there was not much color.
Not at all.
There was not much color in the Emmys.
It was him and Coleman Domingo.
So yeah.
He's an he's an 06 brother. More power to him.
Oh, really? Wow, okay. You get to say 06 again. There you go.
06?
All right. All right, let's go ahead, y'all. We pushing it. Here we go.
It's time to wrap it up.
Look at it.
This is the G Podcast.
He gonna disappear, drop off the show, come back, start in trouble. There you go. That's how you do it. 06. What I call him? I call him the 06
Ooh,
Negro.
Lord, I told you, boy.
All right, y'all. All right, go ahead, 06. What you got? Something last minute? Any shout out? I'm going to you before you freeze. Go ahead.
Go.
Hurry up now.
You talking to me?
Oh, he got Bo in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna start with you, Toledo.
Please do.
Because he got to clear. I got to
get Bo out there.
Oh, now he's frozen again.
I don't have any. I don't have any shouts this week. But I just wanted to say that Cash Patel. Nobody cares if you fudged your experience or not until you mess up. You know what I mean? And when you mess up, then you got to eat the fact that you really are not experienced to do what you're supposed to be doing.
Yep.
So, fire his ass, fire Hegseth, fire McMahon, fire all their asses as far as I'm concerned. And Little Nas X, I just wanted to, because since Mike put it in the comment, in the news this week, of course you're going to have mental issues. You allowed some record executive to convince you it was a good idea to slide down a stripper pole and dance on the devil's penis.
He's right.
You know what I mean? Like, what? So yeah, I hope you get better, bro. You know what I mean? And realize where you are and who you are, and get better.
Yeah, get better, bro. All right, go ahead to you, Tanya B. We're gonna come
Save your
back
money.
to
I'm a sports illiterate, and I have to say, my blood is still green. Go Eagles! But I want to tell you about two really important documentaries, real quick. Prime Video, Allen Iverson, Who the Answer Is, October 23rd, and this one I'm really excited about. Saquon Barkley. Now this follows him for the last 5 years. You know it's going to be good because Martin Scorsese is a producer. And that comes on Amazon Prime also on October 9th. So Saquon and The Answer. So I'm looking forward to those sports documentaries. And shout out to my mother. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and share.
I got you. That 1 second delay in Tanya B is like, it's all you gotta like, you gotta run. You gotta get a head start and run.
You gotta pay attention. You gotta keep up. Get in where you fit in, baby.
I am trying to get up in. There you go.
All right, Val, I'm ready, my brother.
Okay, what you got, man? Shout out.
My shout out is not a shout out, but we're gonna say Trump can do the things he do because he hired incompetent people. Well, I mean, by incompetent people, they don't know their job, say they're going to do whatever they can to please the man. And that is what's going on. He knew he got people in there who are incompetent, don't know how to do the job, don't even know what they do the job. Just said, as long as we keep him happy, we got a job. And that's what's going on, people. Yeah. So buckle up. I'm on for the ride.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you because, just like Talib was saying, your incompetence shows when you're in trouble.
Because people who
definitely remember when the rubber hits the road.
Remember the first term, he actually hired some people who not do their job, and they was bucking him.
Yeah.
They said, "No, you can't do that. It's wrong. We can't." They're not saying that this time.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, he just wanted loyalists, and he got them loyalists who don't know what they're doing. I agree. Hey, y'all, I gotta say to The View, your absence is very noticeable. So Whoopi and the girls, we definitely noticed this week your absence on this issue on Jimmy Kimmel. We noticed. That's all I got to say that. And the other thing is just a fun thing, just to wrap up with Alien Earth. If you're watching it, oh man, the final episode finale is coming up this week. I am watching it. I didn't know what to expect going into it. It's by the same director who did Fargo, the Fargo TV series. And quite frankly, I am pleased. I do hope they end it because I just like finality. I don't like multiple seasons. I don't like these, wait for season 2. Nah. With this, I just want them to go ahead and end it. But I will say I have been thoroughly pleased with Alien Earth. Would love your thoughts. That's all I got to say on that. All right, y'all, don't forget, scan the QR code on logo and social media. Links are there. Also, you can check us out at castropolis.net. All episodes are there. Don't forget, Velvet Frequency Radio is on Facebook. It is also where we play This Is the G podcast Sundays at 6. And if you don't know about Velvet Frequency Radio, it is the 70s grooves, 80s jams, 90s classics, 2000 hits, and some neo-soul all mixed in there. We heat it up Saturdays and Sundays. Shout out to my tailgaters on Saturday.
And the Birdwire.
Check out Club. And the Birdwire, 4 p.m. on Sundays, right before This Is the G podcast. Appreciate y'all. Hey, thank you again. Yes, all of you for coming back another week. Thank you for coming back today, Ron. You know.
Hey, man.
This is the behind the scenes thing. Nobody really sees you do that. No, you all right. I'll be going in doing editing magic, so that it's all good, bro. It's all good. Thank you, Tanya B.
You know what?
Tanya B, straight from her new album, Straight from the Lou, is coming out real soon. She looking at that. Oh, not that Lou. Talib, thank you, man. Talib has a new background, y'all.
For sure.
Please shoot your comments.
Riverside, baby. Riverside. Right there.
He is in Minneapolis doing his thing. Go ahead, y'all. Hey, we appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you. And y'all, again, keep your head up. Might seem like crazy, perilous times, but mark my words, eventually everything pans out and works out the way it's supposed to. Just kind of, be patient. Don't lose it. Keep your head together. Episode 284 is in the can, y'all. Peace and power to the people. Have a good week.
You've been listening to This Is the G Podcast. And This Is the G Podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.